They say money makes the world go round. But how much money is too much? Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, Bernard Arnault. Modern billionaires we all know. But none of them, not one, even comes close to the man you're about to meet. This is the story of Mansa Musa, the king of Mali. A man so wealthy, so powerful, that he literally broke economies with his generosity. Historians estimate his fortune at over $400 billion in today's money, making him arguably the richest human being in all of recorded history. Musa was born in 1280 in the Mali Empire, located in what is today West Africa. His full name was Musa Keita I. He belonged to the Keita dynasty, a powerful royal family that ruled over one of the richest and most organized kingdoms in African history. But Musa wasn't born a king. He came to power under unusual circumstances. The previous ruler, Mansa Abu Bakr II, supposedly set out on a voyage across the Atlantic Ocean, possibly to explore the lands beyond. He never returned. So, in his absence, Musa was appointed deputy. And when it became clear that Abu Bakr was not coming back, Musa assumed the throne and became the 10th Mansa of the Mali Empire. Now, to understand Mansa Musa's wealth, you need to understand Mali at its peak. The empire stretched across a massive portion of West Africa, covering parts of modern-day Mali, Senegal, Gambia, Guinea, Niger, Nigeria, and even Burkina Faso. It wasn't just the size that made it powerful, it was what lay beneath the ground. Gold. Tons of gold. Mali was the largest producer of gold in the world at that time. And back then, gold was more than a precious metal, it was the global currency. Combine that with control over the trans-Saharan trade routes and resources like salt and ivory, and you had an empire overflowing with wealth. And at the top of it all, Mansa Musa. But it wasn't just his wealth that made Musa famous, it was how he used it. In 1324, Musa made a pilgrimage to Mecca, a religious journey known as the Hajj required of all Muslims who can afford it. But this was no ordinary trip. Musa's pilgrimage became the stuff of legend. He didn't travel alone. He brought with him an entourage of over 60,000 people. Soldiers, officials, slaves, merchants, and heralds. He had hundreds of camels, each carrying up to 300 pounds of gold. Streets would have to be cleared just to let the caravan pass. As he crossed through cities in North Africa, he gave away gold to the poor, funded the construction of mosques, and showered local economies with unimaginable wealth. In Cairo, Egypt, Musa's generosity created an economic disaster. He handed out so much gold that the value of gold itself crashed. Prices skyrocketed. Inflation surged. The Egyptian economy was shaken for over a decade. Imagine being so rich that your charity causes an entire nation's economy to spiral. That's how much power Mansa Musa carried. Historians say it's the only time in recorded history that one individual directly controlled the price of gold across the Mediterranean world. But Mansa Musa wasn't just a king who gave out gold. He was a visionary leader who saw wealth as a tool for building legacy. After completing the Hajj, he brought back architects, scholars, and artists to Mali. One of the most famous was Abu Ishaq Saheli, an Andalusian architect who helped build some of West Africa's most iconic structures, including the famous Djinguereber Mosque in Timbuktu. Under Musa's reign, Timbuktu became a global center of learning, commerce, and culture. It attracted scholars and poets from all over the Muslim world. He founded Sankore University, one of the earliest and most prestigious centers of education in Africa, with tens of thousands of manuscripts, some of which still exist today. Before Musa's pilgrimage, many people outside of Africa had never even heard of the Mali Empire. But after his Hajj, word of his wealth and power spread like wildfire. European cartographers began including Mali on their maps. In the 1375 Catalan Atlas, Mansa Musa is shown sitting on a golden throne, holding a nugget of gold in one hand and a golden scepter in the other, a symbol of the unimaginable riches of West Africa. In many ways, Mansa Musa put Africa on the map, both literally and figuratively. Beyond wealth, Musa was also a highly competent administrator. He divided his empire into provinces, each governed by appointed officials. He established tax systems, encouraged agriculture, supported justice, and maintained a standing army. He was deeply religious but also tolerant, ensuring that both Islamic and traditional African practices coexisted peacefully within his empire. Mansa Musa ruled for about 25 years. When he died in 1337, he left behind a stable and wealthy empire. His son Mansa Maga succeeded him, but no one ever matched Musa's impact. His death marked the beginning of a slow decline for Mali, but his legacy remained. Today, Mansa Musa is remembered as more than just a king. He represents the height of African power, scholarship, and cultural sophistication in the medieval world. He shattered Western misconceptions about pre-colonial Africa. He showed the world that Africa wasn't just tribal, it was rich, complex, and deeply influential. To this day, people try to compare modern billionaires to Mansa Musa, but there's really no comparison. His wealth wasn't digital. It wasn't stocks or crypto. It was real gold, real land, and real power, on a scale few have ever approached. Some say if you adjusted for today's GDP, Mansa Musa would still be worth more than the top 5 richest people on Earth combined. Mansa Musa's story isn't just about money. It's about leadership, legacy, and the potential for greatness that's so often overlooked in African history. In a time when the world's attention is on billionaires and tech tycoons, maybe we should look back to a king in the deserts of West Africa who ruled with generosity, wisdom, and enough gold to change the course of history. This was the story of Mansa Musa, the richest man who ever lived.